artifacts. Okay, so I will just realize I'm cutting into my own time, so for the next lecture I'll be really telegraphic. So I came up with about 6 different areas where we would have to really radically change our thinking if we take the observations from holotropic states seriously. The first one is the model of the psyche. What we have currently is a model that's limited to postnatal biography and to the Freudian individual unconscious, which is also a kind of derivative of postnatal biography, things that we have forgotten, things we have repressed, rejected, and so on. If we work with holotropic states, we certainly would explore our childhood, early childhood, but we also realize that there is another very, very important area, which I call perinatal, that is a powerful record of the journey that the fetus takes to the different stages of birth. I started talking about basic perinatal matrices, specific experiential patterns that are associated with each of the stages of birth. And then we have to add to the cartography a vast area which we now call transpersonal, where the experiences take us into identification with other people, group consciousness, identification with animals or even plant life or inorganic nature, experiences that take us to other historical periods, other countries, sometimes with a sense of personal remembering that we call the past life experiences, and another category of transpersonal experiences that take us into the archetypal, the mythological realm of the unconscious. Now, the second area where we would have to change radically our thinking would be related to what I call the architecture of emotional and psychosomatic disorders. Again, current psychiatry believes that if you have a disorder that's psychogenic, which means that we haven't found any organic reasons for it, that it started after we are born. You know, psychoanalysis has ideas about how the origin is related to different stages of the libido development, let's say addiction, alcoholism, manic depressive disorders, oral fixation, compulsive neurosis, anal fixation, conversion hysteria, phobias, phallic fixation, and so on. In holotropic states, you always discover something that links the problems you're working on to your childhood and early history, but it doesn't stop there. You find deeper roots to one of the phases of birth, and then even deeper roots, which are transpersonal, karmic, archetypal, phylogenetic, and so on. Now that's the bad news. The good news is that you also discover, and that's another area, powerful healing mechanisms that operate on the perinatal level and the transpersonal level. Reliving and integrating of the birth experience itself is a powerful therapeutic mechanism that can alleviate a lot of different problems in what we call psychopathology. Past life experiences have tremendous healing impact. Mystical experiences themselves, emergence of archetypal material, including demonic archetypal energy. Those all provide absolutely new, unrecognized, academically unrecognized healing mechanisms. Then the next area would be we have to change our attitude towards spirituality. We link spirituality to lack of education, to primitive magical thinking. Spiritual experiences are seen as psychotic experiences. So that would have to change radically. We would have to recognize spirituality as a very legitimate and important dimension in the psyche and in the universal scheme of things. The next area will have to do with strategy of self-exploration and psychotherapy. Again, we have any number of schools. Each school has a very different idea as to what are the major motivating forces in the psyche, why symptoms develop, what they mean, and each of those schools gives you different technique. So the approaches are absolutely arbitrary, and each school would interpret the same phenomenon in a very different way. And the idea is that we have to understand how the psyche functions in general, and the psyche of the clients in particular, and then we come with a technique in which we sort of correct the psychological functioning. The holotropic states offer a radically different strategy, which is you go into a non-ordinary state and you connect to your inner healer, and the inner healer guides the process, and the therapist has to adjust, has to work with whatever comes up rather than having an idea as to what should happen. And finally, the last area which I consider now cutting edge is I've been working with Rick Tarnas for many years, and we're finding that astrology, particularly transit astrology, combined with archetypal psychology, is really extremely valuable tool when you work with non-ordinary states, whether you do psychedelics, whether you do breathwork, or whether you experience spiritual emergency. So in a nutshell, this is the skeleton, this is the structure. Thank you very much.